Well, hey y'all, welcome back to another video for The Hidden Woman Within. If this is your first time in, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you will know when I upload a video. Hope everyone is doing well. You've had uh, whatever you had. I hope it was good. Put it that way. I don't know. It's too early to be squirreling. So I need to get this together. Anyway, I hope everybody is doing well. I am back with another video, again from the Hidden Woman Within. We're talking about what's love got to do with it. Shortly after that video, my daughter had said to me, "Mom, did you hear that Tina Turner had passed away?" And I said, "No." And so I'm still going to talk about what love's got to do with it. She was a good actress, a good singer, and I pray that Tina's with Jesus. So all I can do is hope that that's where she is. Anyway, the last video, I read the words to her song, and Tina was sharing her hurt and pain in that song because of everything that she had gone through in her marriage from a little girl. That's where it all started from when she was a little girl and her growing up and the stuff that she was dealing with. So that song came out of her pain. So we all have a story, and where that story comes from, only we can determine that. So I read the words of the song, and it was like, what does love have to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? That is just a secondhand emotion. At the touch of your hand, it makes my pulse react. So that song is talking about the emotional side of what she's calling love. Now, I said that I was going to look up the definition for love. Well, Google had a whole lot to say about love, and I jotted some things down. Then it just got to the point I was like, you know what? We ain't doing all that. So I Googled, and it came up with, I got some notes over here. 8 types of love, and how do you know which one you're feeling? Again, feeling, talking about emotions. And that's the one that a lot of people get caught up in, is what you feel. Not that you're not going to have feelings, but you can't base love just solely on emotions. Then it talked about 7 types of love and 4 types of love. And I was like, wow. And they had names for all of them. Like one of them was Eros. We know that that's the passionate love. And I'm thinking you pronounce it philia. That's friends and equals. And another one, stowage. I'm probably not pronouncing it right. And that's between parents and children. And then this is the one I'm going to talk about today. This is agape love. That's mankind. That's the highest level. Even the dictionary says that's the highest level of love. Absolutely. We have, as human beings, love of a lot of things. I love ice cream. I love this restaurant. I love animals. I love my shoes. So there's a lot of different things that we can connect to love, but it doesn't necessarily come down to that agape love, which is the kind of love that we are commanded to have for our fellow man. So one of the other things that I saw on there says, what is the strongest way to say I love you? And then here was a couple of examples. I'm here for you. My heart calls out to you. You're my soulmate. All that sounds good until something goes sideways. And then it's like, I can't stand you. And you, yeah, all that love goes right out the window. You know, people stand at the altar and they vow to love one another till death do us part. And I've done it. Um, and then next thing you know, there's a divorce. What's that all about? There's a lot of things. And I have said, and this is my opinion only, you don't have to agree. You could agree or disagree. It really doesn't matter. But a lot of that boils down to plain old selfishness. What you do? What have you done for me lately? What you gonna do for me? And how come you doing this for me and you're not doing that for me? It's selfishness. So the kind of love that we need to have, I talked about in another video that first I said people are our problem, and then I came back and said, but really they're not. People are our purpose. They are our purpose. We think that everything that we have is for us. Let's say, as an example, um, you have people that can sing, and of course, when that's a passion for them, when that's a God-given gift, they'll sing. I don't care where they are, what they're doing. They got a tune in their heart, a song in their mouth. They are singing or humming something. There's uh, a young man that goes to our church. He's part of praise and worship team, and I love to hear him sing. I mean, years ago when I first started attending the church that I attend, when praise and worship be singing, I hear this other voice, like singing. I guess it's melody. I don't really know about all that stuff, but I like to sing too. But that's not one of my greatest gifts. And I used to think, who was that singing? Well, years later, I found out that it was him. But I enjoy listening to him sing. That's in him. I said to him one time, I said, I think you sing in your sleep. He says, I probably do. So that's in him. That's what he does. He sings. But that singing isn't just for him. He blesses the congregation on Sunday morning, along with the other praise and worship team, in song and ministering to the congregation. If you can type, whatever it is you do, someone else is benefiting from it. So it's not all about your gift, isn't just for you. Say, you know how you sew, you're a seamstress. I know people that can make some amazing wedding gowns and dresses and I mean can put it down, put it together. But they're not making all that stuff for themselves. They're making it for someone else. This is their passion. And you can get paid for your passion. And so this is something that is for somebody else. But when it comes down to a lot of other things, people can tend to be very, very selfish. Now, and I saw a video the other day, just had me shaking my head, and it bothered me for like a split second. But I shouldn't be surprised at how some people are. And this was a test. I've seen this a lot on, YouTube, TikTok, how they do this little test. And this is just people trying to find out where other people's hearts are, I'm going to say. So this young man, he has an empty gas can and he is going around and asking people that are pumping gas, I ran out of gas. Can you help me out? And the first woman, I was embarrassed. I'm sitting home in my room, embarrassed at her attitude. But that's just how some people are. So the man walked up to her and asked her to help, and she said, "Oh no, I can't help you today." She said, "That's your problem." And she said, I don't have $1 to give you. I don't have no money to give you today." And so he said, "But I ran out of gas." She said, "That's not my problem." And he walked away, and I was like, wow. So he goes to another woman, and she really laid it into him. And he said something about her having a nice car. "You know how I got this good car? I worked my so-and-so off for 40 years. I take care of family and I take care of friends. And I'm doing blah, 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 blah." And she was running it. "I don't have $1 to give you." So the guy, he walks away. And some woman calls him over to hand him a few dollars for some gas. And he said to her, "I don't need that." And he reached in his pocket and handed her some cash. So now the last lady that was reading him up one side, down the other, she peeking around there looking to see what's going on. And so then he called somebody over. He said, "Give me some more. Give her another wad of cash." And so this woman who was just trying to get, this is what I'm talking about. It can't be all about us. When are we going to learn how to walk in love toward people? Now, I hear you saying, Everybody's not lovable. And you're right. They're not. They are not. And it has a lot to do with, and this is something that I am learning as I go, which is causing me to look at people differently. I don't have the personality or the temperament to be mean and nasty and rude to people. It is not in me to do that ever. I don't care what they do and how they say it. It's not in me to lash out and be nasty and start popping my neck and that's just not me. That's not me. I'd assume better just walk away because I'm not gonna get my stuff in a wad. I'm just not. And so but the people that sometimes are like that is because, and this is not an excuse for them. A lot of times when you see people like that, they're hurting. We just assume that they're mean, but they're not. They're hurting. Something has happened or is happening in their lives that would cause them to put this wall up. And that wall says, I've been hurt before and I'm not going to let it happen again. And so this is going to be my attitude. And then the neck and the popping. And then that's where all of that comes from. I'm not going to let you get close enough to me to hurt me. So what is that? They're guarding themselves. Instead of trusting God, we're trusting ourselves. I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to make sure I'm going to get you before you get me. But everybody's not out to get you or to get that person. So we just have to be mindful. Now, I'll tell you, you would think that, okay, it's hard to love people like that. It's hard to be nice to people like that. It's really not. It's really not. How can I say that? Now, I've been around some people that make me want to slap the fire right out of them. But I can't do that. I cannot do that. And that cannot be my attitude. I've seen too much to just settle for that they're mean and they're nasty and they're never going to change. That's not true. I've seen the transformation of people that have gone from that attitude and have just from somebody being kind to them, showing them some kind of compassion, it softens. It kind of brings that wall down a little bit. And just imagine, it's like no matter how mean and horrible they can be, and they have the heart of stone, well, it can be softened because Jesus is the healer of the broken heart. And Jesus is not here in the flesh like he was, but we are. We are his hands, his feet, and his mouthpiece in the earth to love people. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. And what does he command us to do? To love each other. It's sometimes, I'm not telling you it's easy, because sometimes it can be difficult to love people that are mistreating you and taking advantage of you and manipulating you. I understand. I really do. But it's like anything else. The more you do it, the easier it gets. It's like the more you say no to a thing, the easier it gets. The more you say yes to a thing, the easier it gets. It's about a decision. We just have to make a choice. So it is our responsibility, not just as Christians, but as human beings. We're here for each other. We're here for each other. And so it says, the scripture says, with loving kindness have I drawn thee. So now I'm not saying, I'm not telling you, because Jesus said if somebody slap you, then turn the other cheek. I know there's a lot of other people, they're not turning no cheek. I saw on a video that somebody sent me a few weeks ago, I think it was my daughter, where this one woman thought that it was okay for her to tell another woman to leave this establishment, that she didn't belong there. And I don't have to tell you that it had to do with the color of their skin. And she was, you get out of, you don't belong here. And when the lady was telling her, she was videotaping the whole time. And when she told her to leave and she didn't, the woman actually spit on her. Well, All of a sudden, the camera's moving all over the place because you know what happened. Um, she didn't turn the other cheek. She didn't allow herself to be spit on again. And I'm not saying that she should have, because I can honestly tell you, I don't know what my response would be if somebody spit in my face. I don't know. When that happens, let's just say that you witness that you see someone spit on someone else and that person doesn't do anything in terms of physically retaliating. And they clean their face off, and they're not they're more humble about it. We would consider that person to be weak, because honey, I can almost guarantee you that if there was 7 people standing around looking, all 7 of them say, "Oh, I would have did this, and she wouldn't have did," and everybody would have something to say. Why? We've already determined in our hearts and in our heads what we would do if that happened. And that's how a lot of that stuff gets started. We determine already. The attitude would be, "I wish you would. I wish you would." I understand. But how can we continue to say, I'm a Christian? Because what does Christian mean? It's Christ-like. So let's talk about Jesus for a minute. Jesus walked on the face of the earth, flesh and blood, just like us. He went through things that we would go through. And the simple fact that he went through it let us know we too can go through it, because we too have on this flesh and blood. What are my examples? Well, Jesus loved the people that crucified him. How do I know that? Because the scripture says, he said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." So he knew it was out of ignorance what they were doing, that the devil was behind all of that, blinding the minds of people, crucify him, crucify him. Before that, they spit on him. They pulled the hair beard out of his face. He went through an awful lot and never opened his mouth against anybody. Never. And so you would say, "Oh, that's Jesus, but he was flesh and blood just like us." He said, "Greater works than these will you do." So in other words, the same thing that he did, we are capable of doing. If he was able to go through all of that and still ask the Lord to forgive them, who are we now to condemn somebody to hell because they spit on us and you want to beat the fool out of them and this, that, and the other? It's not supposed to work that way. It really isn't. And so then the question would be, how do we get to that place? How do we get to the place where if someone is cursing us out or, being nasty and mean, because all that is the enemy trying to provoke you to do something so you can really let that old man come on back to life. The way that we do that is it's just like a fire. The closer you get to the fire on a cold night, the warmer you are. But the further away from the fire, the colder you are. So how do we walk in love? We got to get close to Jesus. It's about our relationship. It's not talking about just going to church on Sunday and quoting a few scriptures and calling yourself a Christian. It's more to it than that. Because trust me, the day is coming when we're going to all find out what the deal is. Not that I thought, no, it's not like that. I'm not talking about that. What I am saying is that we can walk in love. We can do all things through Christ, which strengthens us. And I like how our guest speaker said on Sunday, says, not who strengthens us, which strengthens us. That is a desire that God has for us, is to walk in love toward one another. And he will strengthen us to do it because that's his will for us. But now we want to take matters into our own hands. We want to be able to, like, "Oh no, you're not doing that." I can tell you, and trust me, I have not arrived, because I'm telling you, I don't know what I would do if somebody walked up to me and slapped me for whatever reason. I don't even give anybody a reason to do that. But sometimes people don't even need a reason to slap you. But that has happened to me twice in my life, and I wasn't no Christian, and I sure did respond. I sure did. And but see, when I gave my life to Christ and He forgave me for all of that too. So we can walk in love. We really can. And so I read to you out of the King James version what 1 Corinthians 13. So I want to read this again. And this is what love is. Love is very patient and kind, never jealous or envious, never boastful or proud, never haughty or selfish or rude. Love does not demand its own way. It is not irritable or touchy. It does not hold grudges and will hardly ever even notice when others do it wrong. It is never glad about injustice, but rejoices whenever truth wins out. If you love someone, you will be loyal to him no matter what the cost. You will always believe in him, always expect the best of him, and always stand your ground in defending him. All the special gifts and powers from God will someday come to an end, but love goes on forever. And so that definition of love is unconditional. So for me, what that's saying is that's a no matter what kind of love. No matter what you do, how you do it, when you do it, I still love you. So for me, there shouldn't be any divorce. Not if God has joined the two together. Now, if you've been watching me long enough and you listen to my story, you know that I went through a divorce and I actually filed. I don't believe in divorce. I didn't then and I don't now. But then you say, well, but you're divorced and you filed. Well, I believe that there are grounds for divorce. Okay, now the first ground for divorce would be if your spouse is beating the living crap out of you, you need to make a decision about what you need to be doing. Because obviously that spouse, I didn't say man, that spouse, because women are and can be physically abusive as well. There's a problem there. And unless that person gets some spiritual counseling, that's going to continue to happen. But if that person doesn't get any spiritual counseling and that continues to go on, you have a decision to make. Excuse me. So for me, the reason I filed for divorce, because I'm like, how are you going to be married to somebody, they live in one state and you live in another? In terms of, I mean, I know that there are people that have long distance relationships and their spouses that, one may be in the service, and that's something different. That's something different. This was I need some time. I'm leaving. I'm gone. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't get married to live by myself. I didn't get married to sleep in the bed by myself. I didn't get married for none of that. Husbands and wives need to live in the same house and deal with what they need to deal with. So, again, my opinion only, because I know, I'm sure you got yours, because I got mine. And so, again, it's just all about walking in love toward one another, toward your fellow man, your fellow woman, just mankind. I mean, it's not that hard for us to be kind to one another. I speak to people all the time. I don't care. And there's some people speak back, some people don't. Don't bother me none. But because sometimes I'm driving and somebody might cut me off, and I'm like, oh, so that's what we're doing today. We're cutting people off. Well, then I think I'll be like, okay, shut up, Charlotte. They can't hear you. So now why am I gonna get myself all worked up over somebody that probably didn't even realize that they cut me off? See, that's the other thing. We just assume that people know when they're doing us dirt. Now, there are some people that know when they're doing you dirt because they're intentionally doing you dirt. But then there are those that, have not. I'm going to tell a quick story about Situation happened years ago, and I think I told the story that my niece was hit by a car, and she was between two vehicles. And now she trying to get out in the street. She's trying to cross the street, very busy street, and cars parked on both sides. So what happens? She's trying to look to see where the cars are coming from. So she's kind of like doing that double dutch thing. She back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then finally she thinks there's no cars coming because she don't see anything. And she darts out into the street, and this car hits her, knocks her up in the air. She hits the ground. She's up and she runs across the street. Now, the problem with that is that some of the people that were involved started blaming the woman. Oh, she hit her. It wasn't her fault. Who told her, when you're driving down this street today, there's going to be a little girl trying to cross the street? You got to keep... Nobody, because she didn't know. But that child ran out into the street, got hit by the car, and that was it. But we just can't assume that people are doing things to us on purpose, because they're not. Well, I hope that kind of made some sense today. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's just that we got to start walking in love if you're not already. I mean, there are some people so sweet, they make you sick. And then there's other people that's so mean, they make you sick. You got to find the love of God in your heart and treat your fellow human being, man or woman, whatever they call themselves. We have to walk in love toward them. So that's it for the day. But before I close, I just want to share something with you really quick. I got a few more minutes. Share something with you really quick. Last night, my daughter and I did a live TikTok on her. Jersey Girl did a live TikTok. And on that live, I actually made a small tote. And I made a pouch and a tote. And I was tired yesterday. And not an excuse. I'm human. And so I made a couple of mistakes. The sewing machine started cutting up, and I was like, well, at least you know that this stuff really happens. So anyway, the reason that we went live last night was to basically announce the Crafty Silver Fox coming on board. If you have been watching, I have announced this once before, that I was going to start a new YouTube channel called the Crafty Silver Fox, where I will be doing some of the things that I enjoy doing, which is bag making, pouches. I love doing tumblers. I sew, I paint. There's a lot of things that I do. So the Crafty Silver Fox will debut on Saturday, June the 24th. It's going to be pre-recorded because you have to have so many people on as subscribers before you can go live. So that channel is altogether different from this channel. On that channel, I'm looking for subscribers. I'm looking for a thumbs up. I'm looking for people to interact because that's what I want to do. The other side of that is I'm going to be giving stuff away. I gave away some things last night. I gave away a couple of tumblers. My ultimate goal with the Crafty Silver Fox is to get 1,000 subscribers. And I know y'all can help me do it. So again, let's walk in love, y'all. You can share that with your friends. So the way things that will work, once a month, I'm going to be giving something away. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to be giving away something every single month. So for the first 100 subscribers, I have a gift. Now, in that group of 100, once that gift is given away, then if you were in the first 100, then you will not be able to participate in the next group of new subscribers, if that makes sense. So, and then especially if you won the gift, then you won't have an opportunity to win another for the subscriber part of it. There's going to be lots of things going on that I'm going to be doing that would allow you to win something. I may give something away more than once a month. But we'll see. You will have to subscribe and hit that notification bell in order to find out what I'm doing. I like the way that my daughter set up things last night. She would ask me a couple of questions, and she kept talking about blessings and blessings. What's she talking about? Well, when you're on TikTok, you have to be very careful about your language. You can't talk about money or anything like that, or drawings, or so you got to be real careful. I was like, well, I don't know about TikTok. So anyway, she asked a question, and those girls were on it. I mean, I really couldn't see any of them, and I didn't really know a lot of the people that were on. My nephew was on. One of my adopted daughters, or two of my adopted daughters, were on. I say adopted because they're my daughter's friends, and they call me mommy like she does. And so we had a good time interacting with them last night, and I was tired. I, I normally get up sometimes 4:30, 5:30 in the morning. Not this morning because I worked yesterday. I cleaned the house. I have a small business, just a couple of clients. And then I came home and I made a pouch, and then I was getting ready for, to do the live. And so I was already tired. So I jumped in the shower so I wouldn't have to be, late, because I think we were still on the live. It was a little bit after 9:30 last night. That was definitely past my bedtime. So anyway, that's what's coming on board. So um, I will announce it again before I actually go and actually do the channel before that day. Um, and that's pretty much it. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the channel. And basically, I'm not going to be doing a craft that day. I'm going to be explaining some things and how the Crafty Silver Fox is going to work. So thank you guys for tuning in. Be blessed. Walk in love toward your fellow man. And I'll see you next time. Bye.